What is up, awesome people, and welcome back to another Wi-Fi Wednesday shenanigans! Okay, so continuing on with the whole pre-recorded stuff because 1.2 decided to happen, we are continuing on with the IC challenge from April. So we are slowly getting through April. I do believe I've gone through about half the replays that I had saved, which is awesome to hear, and which means we can move on to May or June or something like that. IC, I can't remember the last one I participated in, so I've kind of skipped a few of them. But anyways, guys, let's move on to our first battle, and as usual, we're going to see our usual shenanigans here with the usual standard leads that we see in VGC 17. I know you guys absolutely enjoy seeing them over and over again. Believe me, so do I. But regardless, we're going to go through and have a look at what they do. So anyways, we've got these shenanigans of the Tapu Lele and the Smeagol lead here. So Smeagol's going to do its usual stuff, the Spore shenanigans. It could do skill swap shenanigans. It could do baton pass shenanigans. It can do a whole bunch of other shenanigans. It's Smeagol. It can do boundless amounts of things. Anyway, Tapu Lele is going to completely nullify my fake out there, go into the Celesteela because it's fearing like a poison jab or some type of gyro ball or something like that. Spore coming from the Smeagol, we never saw that coming, of course, so Togedemaru is going to go to sleep there, which is awesome. I prefer Togedemaru over my Slowbro going to sleep, in perfectly honest opinion there. So Togedemaru snoozing on the job there. Slowbro is getting up the Trick Room. That's all I really care about at this point. I would have been nice though getting some damage off on the Smeagol or something like that, but I do believe I went for the poison jab on the Tapu Lele side, which means I wouldn't have done anything regardless if I went to sleep or not. So anyways, turn 2 we got going on. We got the flamethrower coming from my Slowbro here. I'm not sure in hindsight that was the best thing to do, but regardless, I wanted to get the Celesteela going anyways because it's Celesteela. I hate seeing that thing on the field. It's so tanky, it can be hit so hard, and a whole bunch of other stupid shenanigans like Leech Seed and all that. Okay, so the Celesteela is going to go for the Flamethrower here. Judging from the damage on my Togedemaru, I do have a little bit of bulk in my Togedemaru in my own defense, but it looks like a tanky set just judging from the defense, damage dealt to the Togedemaru. Not only that, the Smeagol goes for Skill Swap, so the Smeagol has Beast Boost and Celesteela now has Moody, which in both ways is quite dangerous because Smeagol could potentially become a sweeper now. Or Celesteela can just get those Moody boosts, get a +2 in something and a -1 in something, and get like +2 in evasion or something, +2 in attack, or whatever, and then completely be real annoying, and not like it's annoying enough. Anyway, Smaller Me got from the Smeagol there. It's going to redirect all my attacks to the Smeagol. In honest opinion, though, I actually think I might have actually targeted the Smeagol with the Slowbro regardless, but I think I did go Zing Zap on the Togedemaru onto the Celesteela to try and get rid of that turn because I didn't want it sticking around for any longer than what it needs to be. So regardless, Smeagol goes there, which is great, but unfortunately I can't take out the Celesteela. Celesteela goes for another Flamethrower and knocks out my Togedemaru, which is always quite sad because whenever I see Togedemaru faint, it kind of brings me a little bit of sadness deep down. I hate to say it. But anyways, Mooney's gonna go up there. Something raised up by +2 and evasion did drop by -1, which is great to see because it means I can hit it a bit easier. Anyways, this Arachnid comes in. I'm like, I hate seeing Arachnid because I think it can run Rhodium Z, it can run Assault Vest, it can run a whole bunch of annoying things. Plus, it's got naturally tank and special defense. It's a great physical attacker as well with Leech Slide, Waterfall, Liquidation, and a whole bunch of other things. And it's got Bug Bite, which kind of nullifies my Wiki Berry. So it's going to eat my Wiki Berry there. I didn't do any damage to it, luckily, so no recovery there. Going for the knockoff because I'm like, I'm going to get rid of whatever it's holding, and it was holding a Quick Claw. I was like, by that point in the IC, I was like, I'm sick of Quick Claw. That is quite good to see of me knocking off a Quick Claw, so thumbs up to that. Anyway, Slowmo's going to kick in there on the Hariyama, so I do get a Guts boost there. Moody continues to boosting this Celesteela to the hills and back, so I was like, I really need to get rid of this Celesteela, so that's going to go down this turn. Going for the Flamethrower onto the Arachnid though, because I know I'm not already taking out the Celesteela with the Hariyama, so I didn't bother just doing it. I was also hoping for a burn there as well, so unfortunately, and I just realized there as I said that, I can't burn Arachnid because of Water Bubble on Arachnid, so no idea where I went Flamethrower. That probably was the best thing I had going, so Knockoff takes out the Celesteela. I knocked off its leftovers, and because of the Guts boost, I'm just take it out. Trick Room ends. The Psychic Terrain also ends, but that's not going to matter because Tapu Lele is the last thing in reserve on the opponent's side. Comes back onto the field, which means, of course, Psychic Terrain's coming back. I hate this goddamn terrain so bloody much with this team because I rely on Fake Up so much. I really need to change that. Anyways, there's not much I can do here. I'm completely defenseless, though the Tapu Lele does go for the Moonblast onto my Slowbro. Does get a special attack drop, which probably means bugger all at this point because I can't do anything to the Arachnid anyway. And I was actually hoping for an Oko there, but I think I actually got min damage. I'm blaming min damage there because I didn't take out the Tapu Lele. It lives on like 1 bloody HP. I get taken out by Liquidation from the Arachnid. I was like, God bloody damn it. So Trick Room comes up once again, which is awesome. I'm like, okay, I can still turn this around. I've got Drampa on reserve. Drampa's an absolute bloody beast by this point, by the way. So I can go Hyper Voice, I can go Shadow Ball, I can completely end this battle. Tapu Lele does its usual shenanigans, goes for the Protector because it knows it's going down that turn and it doesn't want to go down, so it's delaying the inevitable, delaying my Trick Room. Sorry, it's stalling at the Trick Room. Go for Hyper Voice, I'm like, grr, it protected. So at least the Arachnid's going to deal 100% damage there. Brings that down to the red. I was like, okay, I've got this in the bag. Even though I'm going to lose my Slowbro this turn because of Bug Bite from the Arachnid, unfortunately, Slowbro is going to bite the dust. So I was like, okay, it doesn't matter anyways because I can win this turn with Hyper Voice. That's all I need to do to win this battle. And Arachnid goes for the most saltiest thing of my life. It goes for the Y Guard and I start crying. I'm like, are you serious? I have never seen Arachnid with Y Guard. It completely threw me off guard. This Arachnid just in general threw me off guard. I have not yet to see one with Bug Bite. I've yet to see one with Y Guard. And this shenanigans happens. I end up losing it because I'm uninformed. There we go, I'm uninformed, and I lost. So, originally, during my planning point there, I was actually thinking of going for the Shadow Ball, just gearing with the Tapu Lele, because I knew the Arachnid was going to do something, or something to, like, damage my Drampa. Instead, I got cocky and went for the Hyper Voice instead of listening to my gut feeling. So there we go, listen to your gut feeling. How many times I said that on Wi-Fi Wednesday? Anyways, Battle 2, we've got the Golisopod and the Porygon 2 lead here, so I think just from team preview or something like that, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head because I wasn't paying attention. I think this was a Trick Room team, but I wasn't too sure at the time. So regardless, I'm going to go for the Fake Out on the Golisopod to stop its first impression from hitting my Slowbro because that deals a lot of damage to Slowbro, probably coming close to KOing it there. And just judging from the damage done to Slowbro there, that's most likely a Quiet Nature Everlight Porygon 2. I know this because I have personally run a Porygon 2 with Quiet Nature for another team that I'm working on. Hopefully I can bring that out to you guys somewhat soon when I get a little bit more time to get more battles with it because Footage Gathering is kind of being a bit usual shenanigans. They're just not happening with me. Anyways, I'm going to swap in my Mudsdale here because my Slowbro couldn't really do much. Mimikyu is going to come in here. So I was like, okay, I went for the close combat there on the Porygon 2. Should have probably have gone knockoff or something onto the Golisopod or something, predicting the swap, but nope. Again, didn't listen to my gut feeling. So Liquidation hits the Hariyama there, bringing it down to the orange, takes the burn damage as well. Go for the Rock Slide on my Mudsdale here, trying to hit both of them and break the Disguise on the Mimikyu, because breaking the Disguise on Mimikyu is the best feeling ever. Unfortunately, though, I am dealing a little bit less than half damage there to the Golisopod, so I think I'm a little bit off the orange there. And I don't think I got the flinch. I may have got the flinch. I wasn't paying attention. I think I did. Go knockoff on the Mimikyu, knockoff at Slumberry. Yes, I did actually get the flinch there on the Rock Slide. Was awesome. Unfortunately, no flinch there on the Mimikyu, which means I go for the Play Rough there. Knock up my Hariyama, which is a bit unfortunate because Hariyama would have been an awesome counter there to the Golisopod. As I said, just knocking off its whatever item it has and then causing the emergency exit. Regardless, though, going to go into my Drampa here. Going for the Aqua Jet there on the Mudsdale from the Golisopod, which is going to do decent damage here. That's definitely running Brave Nature with max attack most likely. I'm not too sure what its item is though. Could be absolutely anything. It could be something like Mystic Water or something like that. I think I've seen one with like the thing that raises bug type moves. Regardless, Emergency Exit there is going to kick in there on the Golisopod. Go swap it out, go back into the Porygon 2, which is his last Pokemon in reserve. I think I've already knocked out one Pokemon. So Download's going to kick in again, raising its special attack once again. And by the way, every time I see that, I'm actually quite salty because I can never get a Download special attack when I use Porygon 2. Anyways, knock out the Mimikyu with the Rock Slide, which is awesome. Sorry, that wasn't the last Pokemon in reserve. The Metagross is their last Pokemon in reserve that we haven't seen. So at this point, I'm like, awesome. I can just go for the Earthquake here. Don't need to protect on the Drampa here because I'm actually hoping I knock the Drampa down into half, which I know I will do. Get the Berserk boost up so I can get a special attack boost and then take out the Metagross with the Hyper Voice, unless there's some type of weird special defensive max health Metagross, which I don't very rarely see. So I know I'm going to take it out there, which is awesome. Do deal some nice damage there to the Porygon 2, bring it down to the orange. So that's 2 Pokemon down and 2 left, Porygon 2 and the Golisopod. So the Golisopod was the bigger threat than what the Porygon 2 is. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do there. I was going to hit the Ice Beam regardless, I'm not from the Porygon 2, so Drampa's going to go down. As it's kind of unfortunate though, because I think Drampa might have been the best way to deal with Golisopod. So anyways, Golisopod comes back in on the red, and at this point my Trick Room's dead. I'm completely at the mercy of Golisopod here. First impression's going to hit me, and I'm gripped by paralysis as well, so there's not really much Slowbro can do here except take that big massive hit from the Golisopod. Slowbro goes down. and all that's left on my side is the Mudsdale. Ice Beam's going to hit my Mudsdale from this point as well, and as I said, because it is quiet nature, it's going to bring me down to the red. Luckily, no freeze hacks there because I would have been extremely salty there. The salty tears would have been real. I go for the Earthquake here because I'm like, I didn't want to risk going for the Rock Slide because I thought I might miss. Take out the Porygon too, but I don't take out the Goal of Support. I was like, oh my goodness gracious me, why did I not go for Rock Slide? I should have just risked the miss. And unfortunately though, that is game because I don't know why I didn't go Rock Slide. I went Earthquake, probably thinking I was going to take out the Goal of Support with the Earthquake because it was stab and coming off Mudsdale. I don't know why I didn't go Rock Slide. Why did I not go Rock Slide? KrimZen, you bloody idiot. So there we go. I think that battle just died because I'm stupid. Again, there we go. There's 2 battles where I've made 2 really big misplays, or I just haven't read the opponent properly. So there we go. We're on to battle 3. So we got the usual shenanigans going on here. The Slowbro Togedemaru lead here. We all know this particular lead, the fake out from the Togedemaru, which is going to get nullified by the Tapu Lele leads. Oh my goodness gracious me. I really need to fix my leads, don't I? Anyways, Tapu Lele Psychic Surge is going to activate. Of course, there's a Katana on the field, but I can't go fake out. Can't protect my Slowbro, which is bloody awesome. Tapu Lele is going to go for the Hidden Power Fire here. If it was Hidden Power Ground, I'd be screwed. Luckily, it's Hidden Power Fire. Actually taking a really big risk here, not going to swap out or anything like that. But at that point, I couldn't do anything because I didn't want to swap in anything to a Katana regardless. Do go for the Poison Jab on a Tapu Lele, and I get the Poison, which is awesome, and I do get the Trick Room up on the Slowbro, which is awesome. So if the person got a critical hit on the Leaf Blade, it would have been GG right there. I just probably would have forfeited turn 2. Anyways, Poison damage is going to bring the Tapu Lele down to the red. And at this point, we all know what's going to happen here. The Tapu Lele is going to swap out because that's what Tapu Lele does. Goes into the Oranguru to probably counter my Trick Room here. That's what Oranguru does. And of course, I got the Flamethrower on Slowbro, which means I can take out the Katana. Unless it's a Focus Sash set, which was the biggest worry in the back of my head. But it's not a Focus Sash set, which means it's probably something like Grassium Z or Fartium Z or Stylium Z or something like that. It was probably some type of Z Crystal, most likely. Or it's something like Assault Vest or something like that. I have very rarely seen an Assault Vest Katana in my honest opinion. Or it could have been a weird rock Okaberry. Oh no, it wasn't Okaberry. It would have activated. I have seen an Okaberry Katana, but that's a very rare thing to see. Anyways, Mimikyu going to come in there, take the Skull, break its disguise, luckily, and I do go for the Zing Zap. And I knew at the top of my head that I wasn't going to take out the Oranguru regardless if I did go for the Oranguru, because Oranguru is quite tanky on both special defense and defensive side, and it does have 404 health at level 100. Something like 200 and something health at level 50, so there's no way in this living wide world I was going to take out the Oranguru in that one turn. Plus, the Mimikyu is the biggest threat out of the 2 of them. So I don't mind losing my Trick Room at that point, because I think I'm quite confident at this point I could take out what's remaining, and at the same time Tapu Lele is in the back and it's poisoned, and these 2 Pokemon are the only Pokemon remaining. Anyways, go for the Spiky Shield here because I'm going for the Earthquake on the Mudsdale here, try and do as massive damage as I can, take out the Mimikyu with that, and just deal as much damage as I can to the Oranguru. But I get a little bit of swag points here. I actually do get some Spiky Shield damage there to the Mimikyu, goes for a Shadow Claw on the Togedemaru. There's the Earthquake from the Mudsdale, and because of the Spiky Shield, Mimikyu is now into the red. Mimikyu is definitely going bye-bye after that move. Oranguru is going to get brought down to the orange there, and all that remains now is that Tapu Lele that's badly poisoned. Oh, sorry, it's poisoned, but it is badly damaged already, living badly in the red. I'm actually not too surprised that person didn't forfeit at this point. So at this point, all the Tapu Lele can do really is just go for Hidden Power Fire, or I can go for the Psychic on the Mudsdale, and then Drampa can just do, Oranguru can do Oranguru things, which isn't, by the way, very much. You can do like Foul Play, you can do Psychic, you can do Taunt, Trick Room, Protect. I think that's about it that Oranguru really runs in VG617 that I'm aware of anyways. So there's the Taunt. I'm not really too sure why they went Taunt, because I would have just taken out the Oranguru with Zing Zap or something like that turn. High horsepower on the Oranguru and Zing Zap the Tapu Lele at that point. Really no idea what was going through their head unless they had nothing else really to do. So the poison damage is enough to take out the Tapu Lele, and Tapu Lele bites the dust. And that's, as I said, that's the best feeling in the world whenever that happens. But anyways, guys, that is it for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed Wi-Fi Wednesday. I was going to upload 3 Wi-Fi Wednesdays again for tonight to try and get through all the shenanigans that I've got backlogged at the moment. But I've kind of got to go and do a few other things. Something's come up and I've got to do a special little video for you guys that's going to be covering a few things. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to hope that you guys guess or something like that. But anyways, guys, until next time, this is Lady KrimZen saying ciao for now, but not forever. Ciao!